Special Issues Committee meeting on February the 22nd. Counselor Smith.
Here.
Counselor Gear. Counselor Ullman. Counselor Sims.
Here.
And Counselor Andrus.
Andrus, here.
Ullman.
I thought that was first term. We've
He's
moved
saying our
on.
prayer tonight, so I'm trying my Espanol. So everybody's here. You have a quorum.
Okay. Hey guys. Bring it down, please. Thank you. Okay, I need to get a motion to approve the minutes as presented and dispense with the reading, please.
Just move to approve.
Motion to approve from Ms. Andrus, second from Mr. Allemon. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that is approved 5-0. And then, we're just gonna go to the top, and knock these out. 171015, request for consideration of noise and odor problems from Buffalo Rock Mayfield Barbers. Just a quick update, we're gonna carry this over, but, Ron Thompson, our, consultant, and I went on a tour of the plant. It's my second tour of the wastewater plant. Never thought I'd go on one, but I've been on two. And he is going to come next week and make a presentation. He has some action items, possibly for us to consider going forward, and give us the results of our tour and kind of what he saw and what he thinks we need to do. So, we'll hear from him next week. 060121, public hearing set for February 22nd, 2021 at 6 p.m. for consideration of petition to vacate a strip of Park Ridge Drive next to Our Lady of Sorrows parking lot. Wyatt Pugh, BEZ, Melody Salter, City Clerk, and I know we have some folks here to speak to that. And this is scheduled for a public hearing tonight, so we'll need to move this out of committee without a recommendation pending that public hearing tonight. So do y'all want to come on up and explain what we're talking about? And she's putting a sign-in sheet.
You don't have to put the item number in.
Okay, thank you.
Wyatt, do we have items? Is Brian supposed to be putting something up on the screen for us to see? No? Okay, that's okay. Oh, well, there's something.
Well, I thank the committee again for your time to let us come up here this evening and explain to you that what we're trying to do is request a vacation of 10 feet off a 60-foot right-of-way. And if you could see it a little bit better, but this is the property line right here. Now, I'll try to put it. This first yellow line closest to the street, and what we're requesting is 10 feet to move it back here to the second one closest to that old building. As you can see, there are already some encroachments out in the right of way, and this would clean that up for us. We could do that. Again, a 50-foot right of way is standard for a street like this. Basically, this street, as far as public, it just lets people have an exit off of that alley back there. And, of course, ingress and egress into the church property.
And what is the building that's in the?
That's the old Gory Reagan building.
Oh, that's the building before it was torn down?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And again, this, we're wanting to vacate 10 feet, so still be a 50-foot right-of-way, which is pretty typical. A drive is about what that is, and not really a city street, but it is a city street.
And what is the purpose of the vacation? What
Well,
is y'all's hardship that you're trying to?
Yeah, well, it cleans up these existing encroachments that are now in the right-of-way. They've been there for who knows 20, 30 years, I don't know. And so that's one reason, and plus it lets us build the parking lot that we submitted at the council meeting, give us room so we can meet the requirements of the depth of the parking spaces.
Ask a question.
Yes, Ms. Anderson.
Does, by doing this, does it, can you show us a picture? How does this fit into the landscaping that you promised to do? That
It doesn't change any of that. This landscaping plan and those proffers that we agreed to assumes that the right-of-way that we requested, has been vacated, okay? So, no, this plan we submitted for landscaping will be the same. Because it, again, took into consideration that we were gonna get this 10-foot vacation.
So it's going to be part of the parking. It'll be, or the green space or whatever goes into the parking lot. It's not going to be a driveway. It'll be, okay.
Yes, exactly.
Anybody else have any questions?
I guess my question is, what is the desire to vacate this versus just a request, permission to make improvements in the right-of-way for this project?
Well, I think there's already, to do retaining walls, already in agreement with the city. It goes way back.
I think when the rezoning was approved, we also proffered the landscaping plan and actually the site plan for that property. So that is in place already. So we can't change that layout because that was what it was approved with as part of that rezoning.
All right.
Steve, I'm sorry. My name is Steve Monk.
All right, so like I said, this is scheduled for a public hearing that will be held at 6 o'clock during our council meeting. So what we'll need in terms of action from the committee is a motion to move this out of committee without recommendation pending the public hearing tonight. So would anybody like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion from Ms. Gear. Can I get a second?
second?
Second from Ms. Andrus. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so gentlemen, this will be set for the public hearing at 6 o'clock tonight.
Thank
Thank y'all
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Don't leave. Okay, 12/01/21, request permission to work in the city right-of-way for a fire hydrant on 18th Street South. Mr. Pugh, you are up. Chief, you want to come on up? Explain to us what we got going on here? Because if I'm remembering correctly, this is not a y'all fire hydrant.
No, it's not a fire department, it's not a city-owned fire hydrant.
Right.
It was actually, that was the request, they wanted us to take it because it was gonna be in the public right-of-way, and I said, we don't need it, and I don't wanna assume responsibility for eternity and pay for it, because they need it for their building, it's for the Little Donkey Rodney Scott development, and they need it for their sprinkler system, it's gonna be required. They just need permission to work in the right-of-way. I believe somebody's here from there to speak to that. But it won't interfere with the sidewalk, but it'll be a private hydrant. They'll be responsible for installing it, maintaining it, and all of that. They just need permission to work in the right-of-way. Again, they asked us to assume it since it was gonna be in the right-of-way, and I said, but we don't need it.
Yeah.
It's only for you, it's only servicing your building.
So it will be a privately owned
It'll be a privately
fire
owned hydrant.
Okay. Sir, do you want to come up and answer any questions if anybody has any? I don't know that anybody will, but. And just so because I know at one point, the discussion was that the fire hydrant might be on the side street.
Right.
But there was, well, I can't remember why, but there was a reason.
It a couple times because of the distance to the fire department connection and the water.
Okay, so that, it was most about that, making it sure it was close to the, okay, I understand, okay. Does anybody have any questions about this? This is gonna be, like he said, right down at the end of 18th Street, well, not the end, but, on that end of 18th Street where the Rodney Scott Barbecue and New Little Donkey restaurants are going to be located.
This is for Edgar's? Yeah.
Oh,
It's not for Rodney Scott?
No, we're coming back for that.
Are you coming back? You're Rodney Scott too, okay.
okay, sorry, so I have misspoken.
Yeah,
So
this is for Edgar's,
Okay,
and it's gonna go right out in front of Edgar's.
Okay.
Right in that big landscape area we put in.
Okay, but not interfere with the sidewalks or anything at all? Okay,
Won't deal with that at all.
okay.
I do have a question, sorry.
No, yes, hold on.
Huh?
Your name?
Russell Boylan, B-O-Y-L-A-N. I'm with Capstone Real Estate Investments.
Okay, and Ms. Andrus had a question?
Yes, my question is what oversight do you have? If it's not us that's managing that hydrant, who is overseeing that? Who follows up on regulations? Who makes sure that it's operating? Is there any oversight of it at all?
We do the testing twice a year.
Oh, we still will do that.
So the only thing that this does is, we don't have to pay Birmingham Water Works. Because typically, like in a subdivision, a contractor will come in, they'll build a subdivision, they'll install the fire hydrants, and then we assume, the city of Homewood assumes responsibility for those, and we pay the rent on them for eternity. And then if something happens, Birmingham Water Works comes in and repairs it. Now, we always do the testing for private and public hydrants. We maintain them, we paint them, we make sure they flow the right number of gallons for that building. So that'll be taking place by the fire department. We just don't pay the rent on it from now on. Right, we just don't want to pay the rent on it.
But we pay for the maintenance that you all do, right?
You pay for it if it breaks.
Okay, all right.
We do the testing, just 'cause we want to make sure it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
I missed the first part of that discussion. Why are we not going to own this hydrant?
Because Chief Hill explained that they don't want to pay for it. The
We-
fire department
We
doesn't.
don't need it for the city of Homewood, they need it for their building only. It only services their building.
And this is a common thing that's done in other places around
It's
town.
like all the hydrants that you see at Wildwood or
Okay.
Publix parking lot, those are owned by Publix or the Wildwood Development. We don't own, we check them, but we don't own them.
Okay.
So it just keeps them from having to pay for them, essentially.
Right,
The company pays the,
because it's from now on.
Are they marked, but you don't use them? If they have a fire, do we go to the hydrant and put the fire out?
We do.
Okay.
We do. Yeah. The only thing this does is stop us from paying the rent on it forever and ever.
Okay.
Because we have hydrants that are 60, 70 years old, and we pay rent on to the tune of like $114, $15 a year
Okay.
forever.
okay,
So,
all right. Any other questions? If not, can I get a motion?
I'll move to approve.
All right, motion to approve from Ms. Andrus.
Second.
Second from Mr. Allemon. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's 5-0 to approve. All right, thank you. So.
Thank you.
That will be finally decided by the full council at 6 o'clock in our meeting.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
Okay, new business, 010221, request for permission to work in the city right of way adjacent to 1503 Melrose Place. Michelle Misery.
Ms. Mizraini called this morning and asked to withdraw the item. They're going to go in a different
All
direction.
right.
Move to drop.
Move to drop from Ms. Andrus. Can I get a second? Second from Mr. Sims. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that is dropped. Okay, 020221, you might as well just stay right there, Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Request for permission to work in the city right of way in an alley behind 413 Woodland Drive to remove a hackberry tree.
Hey.
Mr. Dr. Neighbors. All right.
First time to the city council.
Exciting. It's exciting stuff.
Kind of nerve-wracking.
Not at all.
Ms. Smith, I get him out of jail every Sunday morning, so I took
I'm
very.
That's
Sure
not
you
true.
do
I take care of him. Well, I understood.
All right, Dr. Neighbors, tell us what you're looking to do.
So I'm in Burt Neighbors, 413 Woodland, and there is an easement behind my house. The alley ends about 5 houses north of me. The easement's 10 or 12 feet. There's a hackberry tree in it. I've taken some pictures of it. Oh, can you see it? Okay. So the hackberry tree is about 10 to 12 inches in diameter, but it is at the end of where my sewer line ties into the main line, and I want to get rid of it before it gets larger. My sewer line's the original that went with that house, which was built in the 1920s or 30s, and so it's the old, I think it's the old clay system, and so I'm going to need to replace that, but I want to get this tree out before I do that. I'll get a professional tree guy to do it. Evans Tree Service, which is over in Mountain Brook, has done my other trees on the property.
Anybody have any questions for Dr. Neighbors? No? All good? Okay. can I get a motion?
Motion to approve?
All right, move to approve from Mr. Sims.
Second.
Second from Mr. Alon. All in favor, please say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye. All right, you got a 5-0 approval, and we'll get that approved, well, we'll vote on that in council at 6 o'clock.
And then
Thank you.
when I get something from you to-
Okay, next item, 030221, request for permission to work in the city right away at 2719 19th Street South, Reeves Construction. Hi, gentlemen. Y'all come on up, if you don't mind, sign in.
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Just go right on it.
All right, yeah, y'all go ahead and explain to us, and is that what we're?
Oh, perfect. Yes, ma'am.
Yep, okay, there you go.
My name is J.T. Murphy with Civil Consultants. We're the site civil engineer of record for this redevelopment project. What you have before you today, you're looking at a architect's rendering of the redevelopment of that building. It was previously some office space. It's being redeveloped and a change in use to an event-type space, think wedding receptions, things like that. But what we're presenting today for the right-of-way use or improvements within the right-of-way is really all we're talking about doing. The space in front of the building between 19th Street and that west side facade is currently being used for parking. It's all asphalt. But with this redevelopment, the owners desire to make that a nicer courtyard area, to have an outdoor space, think for, going outside, take pictures when it's nice evenings, things like that. You can see in the architectural rendering that outside the right-of-way, so on private property, you can see there's a little bit of a knee wall just behind the shrubs that are shown. That's on private property. And then you've got a shaped landscape hedge right here as well, if you can kind of move your cursor up to the north side there. Yes, and that kind of borders that courtyard, okay? So what we're asking to do is to be able to come in and plant the shrubs that are shown there, just to try to improve the streetscape on 19th Street for this project. Additionally, we're asking to modify the existing valley gutter on 19th Street and put in a combination curb and gutter, basically just a 6-inch curb. We felt that that would keep people from running over into the shrubs and things of that nature. Additionally, we've got to add site fire protection for this building. And we've got to modify our domestic water service, and we're likely going to add an irrigation water service. So we'll have 3 meters in the right-of-way, Birmingham Water Works Board meters in the right-of-way as well.
Can you help me orient myself? Where is the current building? What building is it right now?
It's directly across from the Sherwin-Williams right there on 19th Street.
Gotcha.
Used to be the old IMS stairs building right there.
Oh, okay. I was wondering who was, okay.
It was painted last year, but you can see that Reeves Construction, they're already pricing building improvement plans, and that's already been, the building plans have already been approved with the city.
Okay.
It's just now we're looking at the site components for that redevelopment project.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? You may.
Because I don't have any of this. Tell me what you're going to do in the right-of-way. You're going to landscape, what else?
Yes, landscape, some very minor fine grading. Remove the existing valley gutter that's along the edge of pavement and replace that with a 24-inch combination curb and gutter. We've also got currently shown a little bit of drainage to catch the roof drains off that building, the gutter downspouts. There's no system to tie into, so we're currently showing about 10 feet of like 8-inch drain pipe in the right-of-way. A recent redraw of that plan actually eliminates that from the right-of-way.
I really need something. What can I get you? A list that goes on and on. When they come to us, I got no idea what to put in the resolution, because I don't have it.
All right, I've got I've got the site plan, the sort of the civil plan, and that drawing. Will that be sufficient?
Did they list all the improvements?
I think the site plan
They
has
are.
the list on what each item is.
You need
Yes,
those
sir.
numbers?
I do need the, whatever document. The site plan just sets out what you're,
Sure.
And I think Ms. Andrews has a question for y'all.
Is there an opportunity for a sidewalk, a portion, I know it's not connecting to anything right now, but is that something that can be an option? I mean, the better job we do building out, eventually, I would love to see that a walkable area.
We did, you want me to answer that? We did look at that. The owners actually desired to provide us, conceptually, okay, to put a sidewalk in front of this property and continue in 2 blocks, 2 doors down to another property that they own. But after looking at that a little bit closer, I believe the City of Homewood subdivision regulations require an 8 to 12-foot sidewalk in business zones, and there's just not enough right-of-way to be able to make that happen. And so this was a backup plan to just improve, at least improve the look.
Does that sound right, Mr. Kendrick, 8 to 12-foot sidewalk? Mr. Kendrick?
I have no idea.
You don't know? Mr. Pugh, do you know?
But to do something down the road like you were asking, if that's possible, absolutely.
Do you need the right-of-way?
Mr. Pugh, is that correct? Is that the right measurement? So if they were to put a sidewalk in, it would have to be an 8 to 10-foot sidewalk in a business zone? Is that right?
You know, that's what that is indeed what the zoning ordinance says.
Okay. That's why.
That is a big old
It's
sidewalk.
It's a big
extremely
sidewalk.
wide.
Sidewalk.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
it's the
you're exactly
subdivision.
right, yes,
Yeah.
the subdivision regs.
Okay.
It says in commercial areas that.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we don't,
Drive a
I
car
don't
on
even
that
know that,
sidewalk.
I don't even know that we have any that wide anywhere
I can't imagine
downtown,
there
so-
are. They take up the whole area. Okay, all right, well, good to know. We need to learn something tonight. Okay, all right, so issue before us is work in the right of way, the list of which I believe Mr. Kendrick has now received. Does anybody have any further questions? If not, can I get a motion?
JT, I believe everything is listed on that drawing, right?
Yes.
I can't make a
Except
motion.
for we don't have the landscaping called out. It's
Do we
shown
need to
on the
wait
rendering.
until Mr. Kendrick gets the list of what all is going to be?
He's got
You
it.
do have it now?
They handed him
Okay.
They handed him the site plan.
I'm gonna mark this up. Okay. All right.
All right. All right, can I get a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Huh?
I'll move to
Okay.
approve.
Motion from Ms. Andrus.
Second.
Second from Ms. Gear. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, 5-0, and that will be heard in our council meeting at 6.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome, thank you. 040221, request for a variance to extend a fence taller than 8 feet at 1507 Ridge Road. Colleen Henling, homeowner.
That's me. I'm going to be on Zoom.
Oh, hi, Ms. Henling. We've spoken
Hi.
before.
Yeah, but, I live at 1507 Ridge Road, and I want to go ahead and make a wall in the back higher because I have a generator pad in front of it, and my dogs could get over the wall at the current height. It wasn't a problem until recently because the neighbors had a fence on the other side that was 6 feet high with 2 feet of barbed wire on top, but they took the fence down. And now you can probably see from the pictures on the left side, the generator wall, the brick wall is effectively only like 2 bricks high because it slopes, the generator pad stays level, but the wall slopes down. So at the, on the left side, the brick wall is only about 4 feet high, but to make the effective height from the height of the generator 6 feet, my wall for about 1 foot, maybe 1.5 feet is gonna be 8 feet, 4 inches high. The
Okay.
rest of it will be under 8 feet.
Okay, so we're just talking about a 4-inch variance for just a
Right.
very small portion of time, okay?
Right.
Okay,
You can see on that upper right-hand picture there, the height of the generator pad and the height of the brick wall. And
Yeah.
if you look to the bottom, the picture right below that, I did get approval to put that fence extender right there. I just need to extend it across at the same height
okay.
for about another few feet.
And is this on the back of your property, Ms. Henling, or the side?
It's on the side. If you look in one of the pictures, there's a
Oh, yeah.
survey, and it's that yellow spot right at the very top. It's a very small area.
Okay, yeah. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Henling?
Mr. I think this one, we need to set a public hearing.
Oh.
We'll have to set a public hearing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, we've got to stop doing this. Okay. Okay, so Ms. Henling,
Yes.
because it's a fence variance, and I know it's technically a wall, not a fence, but same situation. We have to actually have a public hearing for it, which means we have to set that at council tonight. The good news is we are having council meeting tonight, so we can do that.
Okay.
But that means that we will not be able to actually vote on it officially until it's 2 weeks, right, until the 8th? Yeah, so we'll be able to vote on that on March the 8th, just so that you know that. So we won't be voting on it tonight in council. We can move it out of committee so that we don't have to go back over it and have you come back to a committee meeting, but we will not vote on it until that public hearing on March 8th.
Do I need to do anything at that public hearing?
It'd probably be a good idea for you to be on Zoom again. And we don't have that Zoom link yet, but
Okay.
we'll send that to you. But yeah, it'd probably be a good idea for you to be on Zoom, just so in case anybody has any questions, any other members of the council who aren't on the committee have questions, that you'd be able to be there to answer that.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you for being here, and really all we need then is a motion to set a public hearing for March the 8th. Oh, send it out without recommendation pending the public hearing, which we also need to set for March the 8th.
I move to send out without recommendation pending the public hearing.
Set for March the 8th.
Oh, set for March 8th.
Okay, all right, motion from Ms. Andrus to set the public hearing for March the 8th and also send this item out of committee without a recommendation pending that public hearing. And a second from Mr. Alaman. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is 5-0. All right, so we'll hear that on the 8th. Okay, yeah, and if we could just make sure, and when we have that Zoom link, we just need to remember to send that to Ms. Henling. Okay, and 11:02:21, request for consideration of climate change presentation by John Northrup is from myself, and that is going to happen on the 1st, since we have a time crunch today. So Mr. Northrup will be here next week to present that in committee. So with that, we are adjourned.